And hello all my fellow nerds out there, this is Richie and welcome back once again to Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright Truth and Consequences. So, last time we were searching for the Phantom around the manor. We were looking for some more clues. We talked to Miriam, we talked to Max, and we tried Athena and Apollo kind of had a bit of an argument. So that's why Athena's looking a little glum today. But yeah, we're also playing as Apollo this time. Because he's Kevin's attorney. Oh, hey. Listen, I might have been a bit of a jerk yesterday. Maybe a little. I just wanted to say I'm sorry I blew up at you. That's all. Yeah, thanks. Oh? Well, what? Aren't you going to apologize to me? For what? I told you, I believe you saw something. I mean, you've been stressed, but that can warp your brain a little, you know? I'm not saying you're crazy, just tired. I can't believe this. Forget it, I'll see you in court. Boy, I sure can't wait for the avalanche of passive aggression coming my way. Hey. Oh, Mr. Wright, why are you here? I thought you were staying in Kurain. I was going to, but I heard you and Athena had an argument, and I had a feeling I might be needed. Why is everything blowing this out of proportion? Why is everyone blowing this out of proportion? I've had plenty of arguments with you, and no one is acting like it's the end of the world. Yeah, well, you punched me to settle the score, but I sincerely hope you wouldn't do the same to Athena. Well, of course not. Besides, you deserved it. Yeah, I'm not even going to argue with you there. I definitely deserved it. Athena's just being sensitive, that's all. I don't know, Apollo, I don't know. You seem a little on edge yourself there, buddy. I don't want to get in the middle of things, but I hope you're not going to drag Trucy into your drama. She's not saying it, but I can tell she's upset. I can tell, and I'll try to keep her out of it. Why aren't you talking to Athena about this? I will, but you've worked with her more than I have. So I'm expecting you to set an example of how to handle conflicts like this. What, because I'm the guy? No, because you're older than she is, and more experienced. Oh, yeah, fair point, I guess. Do you believe her? That she saw what she said she saw? Yes, I believe her, but I think there's a logical explanation for it. Like what? I don't know yet, but I doubt even she thinks it was actually Fulbright. Have you considered that maybe she was tired and half dreamed it? I think she can tell the difference between dreams and reality. No, I think what she saw was real. Real to her, maybe. I guess that's where we disagree. I'm not surprised. You believe anything she tells you. Excuse me? Sorry, that didn't come out right. Yeah, I don't think it did. I'm going to go talk to her for a minute. Great, everyone hates me now. What do you think happened? That's not for me to say, but I do not believe Athena hallucinated. I'm not saying it was a hallucination. I think she saw something that triggered something. I just don't know what. I took the liberty of calling the prison and they said Fulbright is still there. As I told her, it wasn't Fulbright she saw. At least not the real Fulbright. What, there's a second Phantom out there? Sorry, but that's a little far-fetched. She doesn't think it was a real Fulbright, does she? No, she has no idea what she actually saw, but she insists he looked exactly like Fulbright. That he was real and stood in front of her and spoke using his voice. And you believe her? What reason would I have to doubt her account? The complete lack of evidence, the absurdity of the claim itself? Take your pick. stranger things have happened. Maybe. I guess we'll wait and see. Why aren't you all mad at me anyway? Everyone seems to be taking her side. I prefer not to take sides in someone else's argument. I don't see why it has to be an argument, or why she's so sensitive about it. Frankly, I'm surprised you're still confused about it. I can't speak for her, but there is one thing I can say. It's not about what she saw that day. No, I believe she is upset for a different reason, and this was just the catalyst. So this argument was always inevitable? That's my theory, yes. But you should discuss this with her. Now, if you excuse me, I need to take care of some business. What kind of business does he need to take care of 2 minutes before a trial? So what exactly are you doing for Kevin anyway? I've been asking myself the same question since last night. I'm just here to help him defend himself, or something like that. Do you really think he's just doing this to confess? It's about the best I can figure. Looks like it's about that time though. Are you coming? Well, yeah, I kind of have to. I don't want you and Athena to fight anymore. I think we can handle it like adults. At least I hope we can. December 26th, 10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 7. Boom! This court is now in session for the trial of Kevin Lamb and Regina Berry. Prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready, Your Honor. Ooh. According to my notes, Mr. Justice is defending Mr. Lamb and Miss Sykes is defending Miss Berry, correct? That's right. I believe the best course of action is for the defense to take turns defending their clients. Ooh, so I'm gonna be switching between the two? This is gonna be very fun. Like, I can't wait to use Athena's emotion gimmick and Apollo's lying gimmick. That just seems so cool. I think Apollo's gimmick has been my favorite because you can see everyone's nervous little twitches when they lie. Ooh, it's just so good and satisfying. Let's see. As I'm given to believe, Mr. Lamb is quite eager to testify. Mr. Justice, you may take over first. Just remember that he is your client, so your responsibility is to him, not Miss Berry. She is involved, thus I will permit you to argue in her favor, but Mr. Lamb is to be your focus. That's not a problem, Your Honor. Miss Sykes and I will focus on our own clients. You see, I'm imposing both of Phoenix Wright's protégés this time. I do hope you can hold out a bit longer. I enjoy a challenge. I've heard that you've dethroned the corrupted monarch. Defending Kevin Lamb must be quite easy by comparison. Actually, I'd rather take my chances with the Queen again. Good old spirit of justice. So, now that... Summit Blackwell? I don't invite you to be my co-counsel for this trial. I don't need your permission. Yes, you most certainly do. I'm merely following Prosecutor Edgeworth's example. He recently took on an assistant. If someone as capable as he believes he needs help, you most certainly do. Mr. Blackwell, you are not permitted to co-counsel against the prosecution's wishes. Yes, that is true. I'm not allowed to co-counsel. But there is no rule against my witnessing this trial. As a prosecutor, I'm perfectly entitled to witness it from here if I wish. And per Prosecutor Edgeworth's own guidelines, should I decide to make a comment or two, it seems like you found a loophole. Loophole? Yes, Your Honor. I don't need his help, and I don't want it. I'm afraid I cannot make him leave unless he proves himself to be a nuisance. Mr. Blackwell, you're on thin ice. I will not hesitate to have you escorted out if I have to. I shall be on my best behavior, Your Honor. His confidence in the three of us is truly touching. I guess that's one way to make sure this is a fair trial. This could be really advantageous for us. Or, you know, it could be a complete disaster. You really should look at the bright side more often, Polly. Now that we've gotten introductions out of the way, let's begin the trial. Yes, let's. Very well, your opening statement if you please. The prosecution says that Mr. Kevin Lamb and or Miss Regina Barry conspired to murder Michael Check together. This is evident by the fact that they were both found at the crime scene seconds after the murder. The prosecution is open to the theory that one may be covering for the other. But until such time is proven, the assumption will remain that they were accomplices. Thank you, Miss Von Karma. Mr. Justice, you may give your opening statement. The defense asserts that our clients, Mr. Lamb and Miss Barry, are innocent of this charge. They were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and were set up by a true killer. Miss Barry has no prior criminal record, and Mr. Lamb has never been convicted of a violent crime. It is completely outside of their character to commit a crime such as this. Thank you, Mr. Justice. Now I have been told rather emphatically that Mr. Lamb would like to testify. Yes, he has volunteered to testify against the advice of his legal counsel. Very well, I hereby call Mr. Lamb to the stand. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Hi, Simon. So cool to see you in court after hearing all your stories. Just state your name and occupation for the court, Kevin. You forgot already? But I was here yesterday. And yet you've managed to find your way back here with yet another charge. Yeah, I guess I did. Man, I should really stop committing crimes, huh? My name is Kevin H. Lamb. I'm a janitor at Maryland Manor, and I killed Mike. I know he's lying, but that smile on his face makes him look like a sociopath. And you're ready to confess the crime in front of the people of the court? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, okay, this is no different from any other witness testimony. Except this time, you have to prove he didn't do it. Don't do what I did. Trust me, I wasn't planning on it. Look on the bright side, he's already terrible at testifying. That actually helps. Thanks. Witness testimony. I killed Mike. I happened to run into Mike in the lounge, and I didn't like how he was looking at Gigi. So I confronted him. We argued, and I shot him. Then everyone came running out and saw me with the gun. I feel like I have to press him for more information on each of those. So you're saying that you shot Mr. Check because you didn't like how he was looking at your girlfriend? That dirty dog. He was looking at her like he wanted her instead. I was overcome with jealous rage. I had to kill him. There, you see. Perfectly straightforward. Don't need your commentary. I don't know about you, but I get the distinct sense that he's lying through his teeth. No, you found a contradiction already. And here I thought his testimony was alright. Was airtight. Get him, Polly. Dina may have messed this up, but this is my show now. Ready or not, here comes justice. Cross-examination. You just so happen to run into him in the lounge? I know, what are the odds, right? Not that low given the fact that the lounge was never locked. Oh yeah, probably not. Sure, smart Apollo. This is from our alleged cold-blooded killer. Anyway, you're saying you two had a chance encounter in the lounge that night. And he started saying Regina belonged to him. Going crazy, man. Nobody owns Regina. She's a free woman. She chose to be with me. Such a lucky guy. Is there anything strange about their chance encounter? If there is, I'm getting too confused to think straight. I confronted him, we argued, and then I shot him. Hold it! With a gun you just so happen to have on you? Yeah, I wanted to make sure Gigi'd be safe. Some kind of extreme precaution to take against a guy you barely know. You can never be too careful. There's all kinds of crazy people out there. I know they're out there. I met a bunch of them in prison. Except you, Simon. You're the best. So what you're saying is you brought a gun with you to work that day. Do you always bring a gun with you to or was that a special day? I always bring it just in case someone tries something crazy. Really? And this happens often enough to be necessary? Well, no, not really. Some people are paranoid. You should see the security system I set up at home. It's enough to make me hope someone tries to rob me. It'd be quite entertaining. Yeah, that's it. I'm paranoid. I'm paranoidist. Does anyone else feel like there's something here? I just can't figure out what. I think so too, but we need to collect some more details first. In the meantime, you should see if there are any other problems with this story. So anyway, after I shot him, then everyone came running out and saw me with a gun. Let's... They came out right afterwards? You didn't try to hide it? I didn't really have time. It all happened so fast. So you just froze in horror staring at the man you just killed? Yep, that's what happened. Interesting. And how did Miss Berry react? Oh yeah, I guess she would have been freaking out. Would have been? You mean if your story were true? Yeah, exactly. So you're saying your story isn't true? What? Oh, wait, no, I mean, that's definitely what she did. I didn't make this up. It's the whole truth. And I thought I was a bad liar. The story has more holes in it than a plot of a bad B movie. Then it shouldn't be too hard to take it down. It almost feels like a little too easy. Yeah, but I know better than to assume I'm home free. This is Kevin after all. Okay, so I'm gonna have to present some evidence at some point. Alright, so it's one of these three statements. I feel like we have to present here. Evidence? Wait, but there was two guns, right? A murder weapon was found in Kevin's hand. A second gun was found next to Mike, and it has a silencer on it. One bullet is missing from both guns. I feel like this is the evidence I have to present because he says gun. Oh wait, but then I happened to run into Mike in the lounge and I didn't know I didn't like how he's looking at Gigi. Wait, what about this note though? Wait, can you meet me in the lounge at 7 p.m.? I wanted to tell you something kind of important. I thought I should do it in person. But you left this note here though. So he had to meet you at the lounge. Objection! Objection! This couldn't have been a random encounter. You left him a note telling him to meet you there. Oh, yeah, of course. I wrote that note for Mike. Thanks for reminding me, Apollo. I'll fix that right away. You're welcome? I sent Mike a note telling him to meet me in the lounge exactly 7 p.m. so he could duke it out over Gigi. Nah. False? Wait, objection. The statement is false. Is it? How is it false? And exactly how is this evidence valid? Well, I didn't. Wait, what? What do you mean objection? I pressed. I pressed him, not presented. What? That's, I feel like I wasn't actually supposed to do that. Okay, wait. Wait, what about his autopsy report? Check. Victim Mike check, male. Bro is 6'1" and 220 pounds? Jesus. Time of death, Christmas Eve, 2028. Gunshots in the chest from upward trajectory of approximately 6 feet to his left. Wait, to his left? Wait, but Kevin was standing on the right side of him, wasn't he? Wait, let me check the crime photo. Yeah, he was standing to his right, not his left. His left is the bullet. Oh, wait a second. I'm connecting dots. I'm connecting dots. Hold up. Hold up. I feel like this is relevant. This has to be it, right? Like, there's no way it can't be, because the bullet hole came from his left side. Objection! Then explain to me how Mike was killed at 8 p.m. an hour later. Oh, right. It was a long conversation. Very long. Super long. Is that so? Yep. It was really long. We just duked it out for a whole hour. Where did you come from, Kevin? What were you doing before you met Mike? Oh, that one's easy. I was cleaning Mr. Lord's office. Really? He still allows you to clean his office after your mishap with the vase. Yeah, I'm not allowed to dance anymore. And he wants me to tell him if I break anything else. But I did such a good job fixing the vase, he told me to feel free to fix whatever I want. And that makes you happy? Yeah, I like doing things I'm really good at. Don't you? Yes, that does make sense. You were expecting a contradiction? Not really, but here's hoping. You want me to fix my testimony again? Please do. Okay, I'm going to add something else. Just remember too. Then make a note telling me at the lounge exactly 10 p.m. so we could duke it out for an hour. Okay. I know I left at exactly 6:55 p.m. because I checked Mr. Lord's clock just as I was leaving. It's a new statement. Hold it! Why would you remember the time so specifically? I've got a great memory for time. Really? A great memory for time, huh? Yep! I even remembered what time I was born. 12:03 a.m. You could tell time as a newborn? Well, it was really dark outside. Okay, I'm not even going to unpack those statements. Forget I asked. Just keep going with your testimony. Okay. For an hour. Hold it! You fought him for an entire hour. I know, I didn't realize you'd been fighting that long either. I guess that's what happens when you're filled with rage. Kevin, have you ever actually been in a fight other than this one? One time, when I was in prison, I can't even read all that. Enough. So this was your first fight then? First one where I threw a punch. Simon stopped all the others. And yet you held your own in an hour-long fight? How impressive. That's the power of love for you. I wonder how long it'd take me to get back to Kurai Inn. Okay. Let me check some evidence. Wait, you said clocks. Both the clocks in Lord's office and Kevin's workshop are set back an hour because Miriam broke Lord's clock and used Kevin's clock to set the time when Lord's when she fixed it. Objection! Mr. Lord's clock was set an hour behind. If you left at 6:55, you would have gotten there by 7:55. In other words, you've been an hour late. Well, that's rather fortuitous. It fixes the contradiction you pointed out earlier, Mr. Apollo Justice. I guess it does, doesn't it? So there's no problem with his story after all. You can't tell if Kevin is very lucky or some kind of unintentional master manipulator. I think he's just very good at making exactly the right mistakes. So I met him there at exactly 8 p.m., not 7 p.m. Okay, 7 p.m. Duke it out. I know, because I checked Lord's clock as I was leaving. He argued, and then I shot him. I feel like there's something about this statement that it sort of just doesn't feel right. I don't know. Let me press it. Hold it! So you knew that Mike was dangerous then? Dangerous to Regina? I kept hearing that he was putting bugs everywhere. That's really unsanitary. What if she gets sick? Not exactly, but I'll explain that later. Assuming I have not completely lost my mind by then. I fought for her. That's what good boyfriends do. Good boyfriends kill potential suitors. I wasn't aware that was a new standard. Just got a little carried away, that's all. Is it too late to look for a different career path? Hey, wait. I feel like the clocks still contradict this, though. Objection! But you were an hour late. Why was he still there waiting for you? Oh yeah, I guess I was. Well, gee, I don't know why you were there. You don't, do you? Maybe he came back? Theoretically possible. Perhaps he returned sometime later to see if Kevin had arrived. That's possible, isn't it? Perhaps, but why? Why did it matter so much to him? Miss Miriam Scuttlebug informed me that she believed he had something on Kevin. Perhaps he was eager to speak to him and check in here, get it, and there to ensure they meet. So she did get to Miriam after all. I figured she would at some point. Wait a second, Mike has something on me? You don't know what it was? No way, what kind of thing could he know about me? I don't have any secrets worth putting on the news, do I? Are you supposed to know that? You're right, I remember my secrets. I don't have any secrets that anyone would want to put on the news, though. At least nothing I can remember. It's weird. My bracelet didn't activate. Ooh. Either he's a really good liar, or he's telling the truth. Or he has a secret that he doesn't know about. But if I try to figure out what that he doesn't know, we'll be here all day. It would appear that Kevin and Mike met at 8 p.m. rather than 7 p.m. Perhaps Mike simply returned to the lounge after Kevin didn't show up. I think we're going to have to let this go for now. It doesn't really prove anything either way. Maybe we should focus on something else instead. Yeah, I think so too. I need more information before I point out another contradiction. Okay. Confronted him, we argued. Hold it! Based on our discussion about the time you met, you must have shot him shortly after you got there. Yeah, it wasn't very long after that. What made you decide to shoot him in such a short amount of time? He wanted Gigi. He said that? No, but I could tell by the way he was looking at her. So naturally, the solution was to shoot him, no questions asked. Well, I mean, we got into an argument first. I got right up in his face. Did you, Kevin? You got up right in his face? Oh yeah, we stood nose to nose. This seems important. Would you mind changing your statement to include that? Sure thing, Simon. I confronted him. We stood nose to nose. I looked him right in the eye and then I shot him. I don't know about that one, buddy. I don't know about that one. I'm gonna press him, though. Hold it! So you were duking it out for an hour. Why'd you wait until then to shoot him? Oh, yeah, I don't remember. Maybe he smacked you on the head? Now he doesn't remember? What was Regina doing during this time? Why didn't she call for help? She must have tried, but the ball was going on. No one could hear her. Why didn't she find security guard or walk in to get Detective Gumshoe? Just didn't think of that. There's definitely wasn't much thought put into this testimony, that's for sure. Then one came running out and stopped me with the gun. Okay. There's something about this statement that doesn't make sense. I don't think that's what happened. There's gotta be a piece of evidence that contradicts it somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, cause like, it's definitely this. The gunshot to the chest was an upward trajectory from approximately 6 feet to his left. 6 feet to his left. Yeah, and sure, that's probably how he found him afterwards, but he wasn't standing that close to him. He wasn't standing nose to nose. He was standing away from him. Okay, wait. You know what? I'm gonna experiment. I'm gonna present the autopsy. Because it says 6 feet. Objection! Okay, Kevin, that's enough. What is going on here? Why are you trying so hard to be convicted? Because I did it. Then why does your description of what happened differ so much from the autopsy report? Differ from the what? Right here, Kevin. Look at this. You said you were nose to nose, right? Yeah, that's right. We're about the same height. We would be on the same level. Actually, you two being the same height is part of the problem. That's not my fault. I just kept on growing and growing. Blame my dad. He was too tall. The problem has nothing to do with how tall you are, Kevin. But let's take a look at where the bullet came from. See, that's the part that's bothering me. Tell me, if you were standing nose to nose with him, how did you shoot him from 6 feet away? Well, you see... Why, Kevin, that's an awfully big contradiction. You appear to be hiding something. But I can explain. Perhaps he's misremembering, when his testimonies are infallible after all. Aren't infallible. The point is that he shot Mike Check. That's where he's been most consistent, isn't it? This is true. If only there was something else in the autopsy report that proves him wrong. Believe it or not, I am capable of doing my job, Prosecutor Blackwell. Because there is something else in the autopsy report that doesn't align with your testimony. If it's true, what part of the report doesn't make sense? Ooh, wait, we actually get to choose? It's this part. What's that? Right here. It had an upward trajectory. That means Mr. Check was shot from below. Why, you're right! That means the killer must have been shorter than the victim. Interesting. And how tall are you, Kevin? He was just standing on his tiptoes, that's all. On his tiptoes, you say? And why would he do that? He wanted to face me down like a man, eye to eye, nose to nose. Then how did you shoot him from 6 feet away? I missed. You were standing inches away from him, Kevin. No one is that bad of a shot. You missed! How could you miss? He was 3 feet in front of you! It is quite obvious that you were hiding something, Mr. Kevin Lamb. Surely you can clear this up in no time. No, I'll fix it. I just forgot some details, that's all. Please continue your testimony, Mr. Lamb. I confronted him. We stood 6 feet apart. I pointed my gun up and I shot him right in the head. I don't know about that. It's a gunshot to the chest, Kevin. Come on, dude. Oh yeah, and also if we actually look at the profiles, Kevin is 6'3". Nick's 6'1". Mike is shorter than Kevin. Evidence. Come on, Kevin. Come on. It says the shot to the chest, not a head. Not the head, man. Jeez, this autopsy report is really gonna be my savior in this trial, isn't it? Objection! Kevin. I think I've seen that spread of Apollo before. You were there. You saw the body. If Mike was shot in the head, why was there a gunshot wound in his chest? Oh, right. Yeah, that's where it was. Do you need a break? I'm fine. This is fine. I'm Apollo Justice, and I'm fine. There's his famous line. Apollo Justice is doing just fine. I'm okay. I don't need a break. He jumped. He jumped? That's right. He jumped. That's how he managed to shoot him from below. There now, you see? He jumped. It's not as if you can prove he didn't jump, Mr. Apollo Justice. Actually, I can. Please visit the evidence that proves Mr. Check never jumped. I mean, have you seen the crime scene photo? Yep. But then, because there's a bullet hole in the window too, right? There was a bullet hole in the curtain in the window, but about 5 feet off the ground. There's no blood on or around it. The window is open. The window is open, a crack, but no fingerprints were found on it. Your Honor, Mike couldn't possibly have jumped even when Kevin shot him. Because the bullet hole in the curtain and window was only 5 feet off the ground. It's too low for Mike to have jumped. What? Face the truth. It's not possible for you to have shot him. No, wait. I can explain. Look at the crime scene photo. Look at the bullet where the bullet was found in the curtain. You shot a gun, Kevin. You know you can't shoot without holding your arm steady. And seeing you're only 2 inches taller than him, the trajectory would have been straight forward, not from below. You're forgetting something. He could have been the shooter if he'd been sitting at the time. Yeah, I was sitting. Dude, come on. Look at the crime scene photo. You were standing. You were sitting? I thought you wanted to face him like a man. Why did you sit down and let him tower over you? I was... because... Mr. Lamb, if you cannot provide a logical explanation, I'm going to have to throw you out of your entire testimony. No, I'm the killer. I killed him. Then explain why you were seated. He knocked me down. And he stood there silently, 6 feet away while you pointed a gun at him? You can explain. Objection! I'd like to clarify a few things, Mr. Apollo Justice. Would you get out the autopsy report once more? Okay. I have a bad feeling about this. Your argument hinges on the fact that Mike Check was shot from below, correct? It does. And that makes it impossible for Mr. Kevin Lamb to have been the shooter. Yes? I see. I'm impressed, Mr. Apollo Justice. You're what? Please, learn to take a compliment. I do not give them out freely. You're an excellent defense attorney. I see your time in Korean served you well. I concede the argument to you. Mr. Lamb was not the shooter. He what? I'm saying that you win, Apollo. You've sufficiently proved that the shooter was shorter than the victim. And yet Mr. Kevin Lamb had been insistent upon his own guilt. There's only one explanation for that. He was coming for the real shooter, Miss Regina Barry. Order in the court. Miss O'Carlo, are you suggesting we drop the murder charge against Mr. Kevin Lamb? Yes, Your Honor. He was not the killer. He was the accomplice. Now, wait a second. None of this proves that Miss Berry is the killer. Doesn't it? You already have forgotten yesterday's fiasco. You seem to recall Kevin attempted to confess to breaking the ashtray. But Regina turned out to be the one who broke it. How is this any different? Are you requesting that we change Miss Berry's charge to first-degree murder? Yes, that makes the most sense given the evidence we have. We knew she was up to something. I knew she was up to something. Call a recess. I think as my job just got more complicated, I need the time. Athena, just do it, Apollo. Your Honor, I'd like a recess so my colleague can prepare. I agree. We all could use a break. Very well. I see no reason not to grant your request. This court is adjourned for 30 minutes. Oh, to be continued. Damn. I don't know. I kind of want to get to the bottom of this case. Ooh. Damn. And I don't know. Last episode was nearly an hour long, but I don't know. I kind of want to do 2 trials today. I kind of have the energy to do it. 11:14 a.m. District Court Defendant's Lobby. Does that Funk Karma lady actually think I did it? Unfortunately, yes. But don't worry, I'll figure something out. Figure something out? She made it sound like I'm the one who could have done it. Hey, I know this looks bad, but I've seen worse than this. How about you drink some water or something, okay? Yeah, I think I will. Athena? It's fine. It's not like I've fallen over for tricks before. Where's Apollo? He's right over there by the wall. Why? What was that? Did he just punch the wall? Jesus! Apollo, are you okay? What on earth is up with him? I'm worried about him. Yeah. Do you know why he's been so moody? That's one way to put it. I'm not sure either. He's been acting that way since he got back. I think your argument upset him more than he's letting on. Maybe I should apologize again. Did you actually see Fulbright? Or rather someone who looks exactly like him? Yes, are you doubting me too? No. If you say it looked like him, I believe you. To be honest, I'm starting to doubt myself. No, don't do that. You're not crazy, Athena. If I learned anything over the years, is that you've got to trust your gut. And if your gut's telling you what you saw was real, don't let Apollo tell you otherwise. My gut's not always right. I did confess to a crime I didn't commit. Hey, it wouldn't be the first time my client confessed. Yeah, I guess you've got a perfect track record there. Not quite perfect, but that's a long story. My point is that you confessed to something that you didn't do, but it turned out that you stabbed someone. That's true. I know gut feelings aren't exactly evidence, but they're not something to ignore either. It might be wrong, but more often than not, you're onto something that will tell you the truth. Well, at the moment, my gut's telling me Apollo's being an idiot right now. I don't think so. He's never been one to trust his gut, has he? No, I guess he was more focused on what he can prove. But it's not just that. I saw something else last night, and it couldn't have been real. Something else? I heard this weird sound come from the men's room on the first floor. The men's room? My room's right above it. Anyway, I went down to check it out, and the signs were switched. So I thought it was the women's room. I went in and saw. I know it sounds crazy, but it looked like my mother's body. Athena. Before you can say anything, of course, I don't think it was actually her body. I'm not delusional. But it looked so real. Maybe Apollo is right. Maybe I am seeing things. Have you ever hallucinated before? Not that I know of, no. That's very suspicious. I don't think so. I don't think someone's trying to make you think you're crazy, do you? That seems far-fetched. But why would they want to do that to me? To go as far as to make sure I see Fulbright and my mother. That takes a lot of effort. I heard black mold can make you hallucinate. True, but you'd have to be exposed to it for a lot longer than one night. Do you know if you're allergic to mold? I think so, but it's not severe. I've never had a dangerous reaction. Then that can't be it. Not to be rude, but maybe we should talk about the case. Is your hand okay? It's fine. And speaking of, I think this has gone out of control. I'll say. I got us into this mess and get us out of it. Mr. Wright, I think I should be first chair. I should be first chair. What? I'm the one who screwed up. Let me fix it. I've done cases like this before. I have a lot more experience. What? And I'm just a dumb rookie? You've needed help with all... Okay, not all of them. Fine. All but one. And how do you expect me to make any progress as a lawyer if there's always someone holding my hand? Come on, we both know this case is a lot bigger than we expected. So because it's big, I have to step aside and let you take over? Enough! Look, you two can argue all you want after this case. But these are real people who need your help. If you can't handle this case like adults, I'm taking it over. Have I made myself clear? I don't think I've never seen Phoenix Wright that angry before. This is the first time I've ever seen it like this. Yes, I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. Apollo? Yeah, I'm sorry too. Look, just remember what I told you. For a lawyer, the worst of times are when you have to force your biggest smiles. Don't remind me of my favorite female character, man. Dude, I miss Mia a lot, man. Those words are very, very helpful, and I've actually followed those words for my entire life since I first heard it. Trust me, I have trouble doing that too. So if you can't force a smile, just remember that the only time a lawyer can cry or get riled up is when it's all over. You think you can handle it like adults, or should I take over? I can if she can. I can do it. Good. And I think Athena can handle being first chair. She's right. She can't learn if someone's always taking over for her. Okay then. So our case has just got a lot more complicated. I think we need to focus on what actually happened. Agreed. Are you two alright? I heard raised voices. Yeah, we're okay. Hey Regina, what did you see specifically? Well, Kevin said it. We were on our way to the lounge when we saw cleaning signs. So he said he could go into the ballroom and from there, and he'd go take them down. Did you see anyone on the way? No, I don't think so. We were going into the ballroom when we heard a loud gunshot. Kevin told me to get behind them, and we ran over and found Mike lying there. So he grabbed the gun and put his arm around me to protect me. So Mike was already dead? Yes, I'm sure of it. Okay, did you notice anything else? Nothing comes to mind. Thanks. This gives us some valuable information. We really should have asked this yesterday. You're right. I feel like such an idiot right now. We're both idiots. We weren't as focused as we should have been. Do you want to drop the case? I can handle it on my own. No. Miss Wakama has now gone one over both of us. I want to finish this. I've never gone up against anyone like her. I don't know how she plays these mind games to predict everything we do. It's like she's got this master plan for how the trial is going to go. And we're just her little puppets. It's a good way to keep us both on edge. You'll figure it out. I have faith in you. In the end, there's always someone else. Just hang on until then. Thanks. Looks like it's about that time. I believe in you, Athena. You too, Apollo. Francisca's tough, but you don't give up easily. Don't worry. As long as Kevin and Regina are innocent, I know I can win. Here we go. 11:40 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 7. Court is back in session for the trial of Kevin Lamb and Regina Barry. Prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Defense is also ready, Your Honor. Now that we're back, I have something I mean to share with the court. Something to share? You see, I uncovered some evidence that may change the, shall we say, trajectory of this trial. That pun was unnecessary, and now I will slap you. New evidence out of the gate? Not good. Don't let her get the upper hand. Easier said than done. The reason I did not bring this evidence to lay is because I was checking something. What do you mean you were checking something? I mean, I was checking to see if Mr. Kevin Lamb would bring it up in his testimony. It seemed rather important, and yet he neglected to mention it once. Thanks to that detail, I now have a fairly good idea of what happened. What did you find? I found a bullet embedded in the wall behind Kevin and Regina. How is this the first time I'm hearing about this? It's simple, isn't it? If Kevin had been covering for Regina, that bit of evidence would be vital. Because the bullet in the wall behind them indicates that my check fired first. It would have been a fairly routine self-defense case. And yet Kevin Lamb neglected to provide that detail in his testimony. I searched that area and I didn't see any bullet anywhere. Once again, not everyone has had to learn how to hide things. The bullet was obscured by a rather large and ornate painting. I noticed it was slightly crooked, so I checked behind it. I asked the police not disclose it, and to you to see if Kevin would bring it up. Otherwise, it would have been too easy for you to just feed him a convenient lie. Sure, but isn't that the concealment of evidence or what? I'm pretty sure there's like a term for it. Yeah, no, hold on. That would definitely be just withholding evidence. You can't. And I know Phoenix Wright isn't a stranger to doing this, but in real American courts, you can't actually withhold evidence because it's against the law. Like all evidence should be there and considered, so there are no surprises during trials. But we all know that. But thanks to game theory, that Phoenix Wright takes place in some sort of like American Japan court system hybrid sort of thing. That wouldn't be just a just outcome, would it? Shoot, that's a really good point. Actually, it was checked and determined to have been fired from Mike's gun. No DNA was found on it, but that's not always the case, even if it travels through someone. All I can reasonably conclude is that it was Mike who pulled the trigger. Then the wall added to court record. And to make things easier, here's a diagram of the lounge at the time of the shooting. Oh, now we get a diagram. Were there any fingerprints on the painting to prove it was moved? Excellent question, Apollo Justice. There were no fingerprints on the frame, nor any indication it was wiped off. There's only one conclusion that can be drawn from that. Whoever moved it wore gloves. Wait a second. I see you put the pieces together, Miss Athena Sykes. Just so happens that Miss Regina Barry was the only person present who was wearing gloves. Order! Order! are you suggesting that Miss Berry covered her crime? That's exactly what I'm suggesting. She handed the gun to Kevin and moved the painting to cover her crime during the confusion. We certainly left her plenty of time to hide what she'd done. Anyone could acquire gloves, especially if a murder was planned ahead of time. Very true, but they only had a minute or so to hide their crime. Even so, like Kevin would know they'd be seen. That is why they set up the scene the way they did. But that still doesn't make sense. The bullet was found behind them. Who would have shot the wall behind them? Come now, Miss Athena Sykes. Usually better than this, isn't it obvious? A second gun was found in Mike Check's hand, one with a silencer. Imagine upon realizing he was being ambushed, he attempted to defend himself. The trajectory matches approximately where the shooter would have been standing. It would have missed by inches. We don't know for sure which shot was fired first. I hardly think it matters, Miss Athena Sykes. Were it self-defense, don't you think Kevin would have mentioned it? He could easily have claimed Mike shot him first, and yet he didn't. The bullet hole could have been covered up before Kevin and Regina got there. So he wouldn't have known about it in the first place. That's a fair point, Miss Wright. Certainly would be if we didn't all hear the shooting as it happened. And might I remind you, the music was turned off right afterwards. The silencer merely muffles the sound of a gunshot. We'd have heard that second shot. She's got me there. Okay, so Mike fired first. What if Kevin didn't know about the second bullet? Fair point, but impossible. How come? To answer that question, I'd like to do a case briefing if that's alright with you, Your Honor. I'll allow it. Well then, the prosecutor calls Detective Gumshoe to the stand. Ah, good old detective. And hey there, Mr. Sykes, right? That's right. Glad you finally learned my name. So yeah, I guess I gotta talk about what happened. Now let's see, the gunshot was heard around 8:07 p.m. This guy found the defendant and her boyfriend at 8:08 p.m. standing over the body. He was holding the gun and only his fingerprints were found on it. The shell casing was found next to the couch, which is where she would have been standing. The victim fired one shot that missed and hit the wall behind Miss Berry's location. Because the security guard came through at 7:45 p.m. and did not see the body. It's clear from the evidence that they met after 7:45 p.m. and there was an altercation. This seems rather cut and dry. This occurred after 7:45 p.m. Must have. Otherwise, security would have seen something. We checked the system, and he was in the room at exactly 7:45. He was upstairs when the shot rang out, so he's cleared. No reason to lie. Yes, a remarkably clear briefing with little room for doubt. I don't think Prosecutor Blackwell is too happy about this. That means it's up to me to find some sort of issue here. There's not much to work with, but I do have one question. Isn't there a way to find out if someone fired a gun? You're talking about gunshot residue, right? Gunshot residue? The little particles expelled by a gun when it fires? Sure is. Though, now I'm a dad, I'm a little concerned that someone your age knows what that is. I'm almost 18! Residue is usually found on the killer's hands right after they fire the shot, isn't it? That'd make solving our cases a lot easier, wouldn't it? But no, it's not quite that simple. See, there's a lot of factors that go into it. If the perp wore gloves, for example, the residue would get on the gloves, not the hand. Yeah, exactly. Then you all got it. Then all you gotta do is hide or destroy the gloves. Plus, things can get real dodgy if this stuff because it's not always a hard science. Yeah, if you find it all over the perp's hand, that's powerful evidence. The fact is, it kinda gets everywhere. You can find particles all over. Could be on some of you right now if you can believe it. Is that so? Yeah, so if you find a particle or two, that's not strong enough evidence. If you have a bunch of them for it to be admissible. Thank you for the science lesson. I see you spent some time with Emma Sky. Oh yeah, she talks about this stuff all the time. I learn something new every day. So putting aside any singular particles you may have found here and there, what did you find? There were enough particles to be significant in 3 places. Kevin Lamb's left hand, Regina Berry's right glove, and Mike Check's right hand. Wait a second, you're telling me Regina handled the gun? Would have had to, yeah. The gunshot residue getting on her right glove makes sense, considering she's right-handed. And it would seem Kevin has something in common with both apologists and myself. He's left-handed, rather unfortunate that the residue was found on his left hand, isn't it? That's not good. Yeah, no kidding. Gunshot residue added to court record. Ooh, okay. By your own admission, residue can get all over the place, right? So, couldn't you get it on your hand from picking up the gun? Come to think of it, yeah, that'd do. You'd get more of it if you actually pulled the trigger, but if it was recent enough. So, it's possible neither Kevin nor Regina actually pulled the trigger. Suppose so, yeah. Yes, but the other guests were tested. No residue was found on them. Who else could have been but Miss Regina Berry that fired that fatal shot? That's a good question. We should start there. No other guests that had residue on their hands, but it could have been a case of hitting gloves too. Did you test the staff too? Yeah, of course. They were clean too. We know Miss Sears was in the ballroom at the time. We all heard her say something. Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. And the caterers were an outside service. That means Miss Sears couldn't have been the killer, nor could anyone in the ballroom at the time. And I doubt it was Miss Andrews, or Mr. Barton. And Mr. Barton was upstairs at the time, so that's a dead end too. I wonder if there's any way to prove someone else could have snuck in. Snuck in, shot Mike, and snuck back out with all without being seen. There aren't many places to hide in that room. So, is that everything you need to know, or? I think I might have something, but I need to get some clarification. I have a question. Ooh. Did you find anything else on the window? No fingerprints, if that's what you're asking. Yeah, but did you test anything? Sure we did. Nothing came up. At least, nothing that could have been weird to find there. You know, cobwebs, dead bugs, dust, stuff like that, but nothing else. Is there a contradiction here? No, I don't think that's it. Okay. Was it particularly cold in the lounge? Cold in the lounge? To indicate that the window was open for a while. No, not really. Seeing none of this. How far away was the casing? Well, within throwing distance, probably about 5 feet or so. As far as I can tell, the window was open to toss it out, so there'd only be one casing. Is there a contradiction here? No. I think it could be... I don't know, it could be the first one. It's like, I feel like that might be the first statement. I have a feeling that it is. Your Honor, there is something suspicious about this statement. What evidence do you have to support that? Maybe the residue itself? Detective Gumshoe, I'm surprised you missed something so obvious. Say what? Well, like you said, gunshot residue gets everywhere. So why wasn't it on the window? Hey, that is a good question. Now you mention it, there wasn't any residue there. So then, how did the killer open the window without leaving any residue? Kevin could have used his right hand, or Regina her left. Nice try, but how much about forensics do you think they know? If I didn't know anything about gunshot residue, I'd have had Regina open the window. She was the only one wearing gloves, so it makes sense, but there was residue on her right glove. Seeing as she's right-handed, do you think she'd use her left hand to open the window? It's not out of the question. It's a heavy window. Most people would use both hands to open it. But if you only use one hand, which would you use? That's a fair point. I'd likely favor my right hand without second thought. So would I. It's second nature. We'd all use our dominant hand. But you're forgetting something, Miss Athena Sykes. Regina always carries around her baton in her right hand. True, but she wasn't holding it at the crime, or at the time. She wasn't? I've never seen her without it. I assume you can prove it. Take a look at this. Oh? I mean, the crime scene photo, right? Yeah, she wasn't holding her baton at that time. That's like the only thing I could think of. Yeah, present. All you have to do is look at the picture Lotta Hart took right after they were found. I see what you mean. It would appear that Miss Barry dropped the baton. That doesn't mean she didn't use her left hand to open the window. Detective Gumshoe, was there any residue on the baton? Apart from the stray particle or two? No. Then that stands to reason that she switched hands to pick up the gun. She dropped the baton from her left hand. Now what were you saying about her opening the window with her left hand? She also could have dropped that baton before she opened the window. Maybe, but it is a little unlikely, isn't it? If she was the shooter, why hold the gun with only one hand? Why not use both? Could it have been that she was already holding something with her left hand? She also could have dropped the baton after shooting before she opened the window. Really, she dropped the baton from her left hand to open the window with the same hand. She was right-handed. Who would intentionally use their non-dominant hand for all that? Miss Horkama, wouldn't you favor your left? It must be pretty strong from all that whipping.
Objection!
I'd give you that one, Miss Athena Sykes. That was an excellent point. You're quite right. I likely would use my left hand without thinking. It would appear that someone else opened the window. There's just one tiny problem with your logic. Here we go again. The murder wasn't spontaneous. Might I remind you that Kevin invited Mike to the lounge? Fair enough, but he came an hour late. Apollo proved that. And what exactly does that prove either way? He was late. Mike was in the lounge anyway. True, he was in the lounge. I'm not going to dispute that. That's actually a bit suspicious. He wouldn't have casually strolled in. Saying he had a reason not to go in? Why? The lounge wasn't off limits to guests. You're right, it's not off limits, usually, so he probably wouldn't have gone because of this. Oh, wait, Do I have to pick something? Wait. You want him gone because... Oh, wait, no, because clothes were cleaning, right? The lounge was being blocked off for cleaning. Yes, and that would be a fantastic argument if Kevin weren't the janitor. Right, I forgot about that part. Whoops. Mr. O'Karma, are you suggesting the window was open before the murder? Exactly what I'm suggesting. That would make the most sense, wouldn't it? Yes, it would make the most sense right now. Unless the defense would like to raise an objection. Of course I'd like to raise an objection. Great, now I'm resorting to bluffing. Alright, what's your objection? You haven't explained something. I'm very specific of you. Okay, Zena, channel your best Phoenix Wright impression. You haven't explained why it was done. I'm very glad you asked about that. As a matter of fact, I can prove the motive. Gumshoe, you've been awfully patient with us. Would you care to explain? I was starting to think you forgot I was standing here. But she's right. There is a motive. The victim was stalking the defendant. Stalking her? Since when? He was hanging around the circus. Received a couple of complaints about it. She must have found that a little creepy, you know? It seems like a lot of speculation. How do we even know Kevin was aware of it? Can you prove he didn't know about it? No, but that doesn't mean he did know. I think we should classify this as a possibility that can't until it can be proven either way. A judge who doesn't default to the prosecutor's side? Are we in the Twilight Zone or what? I think it's best if we don't look a gift horse in the mouth for now. So what? Do you have a witness who saw Kevin and Regina talking about Mike? Why in the world would I waste the court's time trying to prove a motive? The facts of the case are what's important, not the speculations. That's not how Nayuta Sadamati or Simon Blackwell conducted things? Yes, I've seen them in action. They're far more amenable to wasting the court's time. The 3D movement in a 2D space just feels so jarring. And what exactly is that supposed to mean? Perhaps you could clean out your ears. I thought I made myself clear. You can give up on your fantasy of getting an easy trial. Though, I thought you might have figured that out from the last case. Can't really argue with that. Now, I like to return to witnesses who actually witnessed something. That's why they're called witnesses, is it not? Yeah, I guess so. Very well, I'd like to call security guard in question to stand. Unless proving the time of the event is too relevant for you. No, that seems a lot more straightforward and to the point. No slipping anything past her. The prosecution calls Mr. Al-I Barton to the stand. This is gonna be fun. So, I really didn't see all that much. Don't know why you want me up here. I'll explain that in a moment. Just give me your name and occupation. Name's Al-I Barton. Occupation is security guard of Maryland Manor. And you were in fact working the night of the murder? Sure thing. Been taking on some extra hours to help my daughter pay for college. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, I'm sure she appreciates it. I'm given to believe that you do your rounds every hour. Yep. On every hour. On the hour, every hour. Place doesn't have security cameras, so I have to walk through the whole thing. Usually get to each checkpoint at the same time. According to the security log, you were in the lounge at 7:45? Yep, 7:45 on the dot. I was on the 3rd floor when everything went down. I can prove that. I always carry a work phone with me. Thing is, I don't usually get there that late, see? Because I usually do the lounge checkpoint at about 7:30. Perhaps you should save that for your testimony. Suppose that makes more sense, yeah. Alright, witness testimony. My security round. That evening, I did my round as usual. I always leave around 7:15 p.m. or so. I usually start in the basement and work my way up. Everything looked fine there. So I went upstairs and checked into my usual checkpoint until I got to the kitchen. It was empty because the ball was being catered, which is good because there was a gas leak. It was a pretty simple fix, so I took care of it. But I was delayed by about 15 minutes. It was 7:45 p.m. when I finally checked in the lounge. It was empty. Nothing was there except for cleaning signs, so I left. I was on the 3rd floor when I heard the shot, so I wasn't a witness or anything. It seems rather straightforward, and you're saying this had to have occurred after 7:45 p.m.? Must have. Otherwise, security would have been something. Or would have seen something. My bad. They checked the system, and I was in the room at exactly 7:45. Yes, a remarkably clear testimony, though there's plenty to glean from it. I get the sense Prosecutor Blackwell has a few questions. That means he's got to trust me to ask the right ones. Something he's been remarkably bad at doing as of late. You've got this, Beanie! Cross-examination. Alright, and I think I'm actually going to be leaving this episode here for now. So we're going to be leaving this episode here. I know this is a pretty awkward place to leave it, but I am getting pretty exhausted. I've been recording for about an hour or so. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like, comment what you think, share this video with your friends, and be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss a single notification. I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye.
You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason.